I met with President Biden, about 3 weeks ago when he came down to tour the damage, and I talked to him about the importance of getting FEMA fully funded. There's a federal disaster relief fund that's part of FEMA, and that pays for things like debris pickup, helps individuals that have lost their homes, helps our small businesses, a variety of things like that. Right now, this thing is getting low on funds. I checked on September 11th. It's down to $2.5 billion, and they project by the end of this month it'll be down to $550 million. What I'm asking for is a standalone vote on my bill, which is called the Federal Disaster Responsibility Act, and I hope every senator here will unanimously agree that we should do this.
May I say that I appreciate that Senator Scott would like to accelerate disaster aid to his home state, but let me observe that disasters have taken place not only in Florida, but in the presiding officer's home state of Hawaii, in Vermont, in New York, in Louisiana, and other states as well. And in response to that, what President Biden did was made a request of Congress in August to pass a comprehensive emergency supplemental that includes an increase in funding for FEMA's disaster relief fund. It also includes $45 million for the Department of Ag and $15 million for the Department of Interior to support more than 20,000 firefighters who are out there braving this explosion in new wildfires that are taking place across our country. And we absolutely need to head off the root cause of all of this, which is fossil fuel emissions, choking our atmosphere with greenhouse gases, heating up the earth, and causing us to spin out from basic conditions of habitability of the earth that have existed for tens of thousands of years. This is driven by climate change. Let's be clear about that. We've had 14 named storms so far in the 2023 hurricane season. If you look back at last year, weather-related damage in the United States topped $165 billion. We've had testimony in my budget committee that in OMB, climate change will cost the federal budget $2 trillion per year. We cannot address this piecemeal, and we cannot address it only by providing disaster relief and not doing anything useful to head off these risks. Some of these are what economists call systemic risks. Systemic doesn't sound like it's a very big word, but what it means is the risk cascades out of the area where the economic harm is taking place to trash the whole economy. Just the way the 2008 mortgage meltdown didn't just trash the banks that had the bad mortgages, it took down the whole U.S. economy. That's predicted for coastal property value crash. That's predicted for a wildfire uninsurability crash. That's predicted for a carbon bubble crash. And the insurance meltdown has already begun in Florida, in Louisiana, and in Texas. So the warning signs of another 2008 scale financial crisis are already flashing red, and behind those immediate warning signs looms the collapse of Earth's basic natural operating systems that science has predicted for decades and with real precision. We need to do a lot more than just clean up. We do need to clean up the disasters, but we also need to get the pre-disaster preparation and resources in, because we know this is coming and we know it's getting worse, and we absolutely need to head off the root cause of all of this, which is fossil fuel emissions. So what we should do is pass the continuing resolution with full funding for the President's supplemental request for FEMA's disaster relief fund, for the Department of Agriculture firefighter money, for the Department of Interior firefighter money. And while we're at it, because President Zelensky was here today, I'll also add that it's really important to continue to support Ukraine. So for those reasons, I will object.